Let's try to get the latest now on this unfolding story. SABC News reporter Ofentse Setimo is in Soweto. Ofentse, absolutely shocking. Just on the backdrop of what had taken place in Scenery Park in East London, so many lives again lost. Do we know anything more about what happened in the early hours of this morning?
Thank you very much, and a good morning to you and your viewers, Griselda. Well, quite a somber moment, as you rightfully mentioned in your intro there. You know, families woke up to the news that their family members have actually been shot fatally after 12:30 midnight last night. We're actually a stone throw away from the Mdlalose Tavern right here in the Informal Settlement, and the MEC has actually expressed concern about the proliferation of firearms that are here. It's not yet clear what the motive for the matter is, as police are actually still trying to investigate for clues. I'm joined now by the MEC for Community Safety. Thank you so much for your time, MEC. Can you just elaborate on exactly what transpired last night?
We got calls around 12 at night that there's been a shooting incident here Nomzamo, and I immediately called the police. Obviously, communities, when they see an incident happening, they call whoever they have their contact numbers. I immediately called the police, and because it was a night whereby Operation Ukaimlao was also on, so it was even easier to find them at various points where they were working, and they quickly rushed and come here to Nomzamo. And indeed, when they arrived here, they found almost about 13 bodies of people that have actually been shot. And of course, others, through their friends, they were trying to assist them. Others actually died here around on the corners, so the various corners here of the township, because their friends were trying to actually carry them, either getting help for them. Because as we know, ambulances don't work at night. You'll call an ambulance while waiting for that ambulance. So they were trying to assist one another. So out of those that finally, when the ambulances arrived, about 10 of them were actually taken to hospital, and at around 4 a.m. the number was now standing at 13, because one, when he arrived in hospital, actually passed on, and there were those that were still critical. It has just been confirmed now that the 15th one, in fact the 14 and 15 now, have just passed on in hospital. They were indeed in a critical condition, and that's what saddens all of us. As we've previously indicated, that guns are now a problem in Gauteng. We don't know if they are trying to provoke the situation or what is happening, because on Friday the security cluster was actually giving a briefing and indicating that all is well, and everyone is on top of their work. Crime intelligence is on the ground, and unprovoked, as they came in here and shot at the people, because they did not even take any money, they did not take anything. So you can't say maybe it was a planned robbery or planned what. It's just they walked in and actually shot randomly at people whilst people were just sitting in a tavern. Of course, it is a legal tavern because it does have a license, and we're verified through the liquor board, and we're verified through the law enforcement agencies that indeed it was, they were working within their timelines. Remember, taverns close at 1 a.m. so they were still within their operating hours. It's not as if also they were also breaking the law. But what is said is that we've lost lives in Gauteng. We had a massacre, really, and this is really not good. Not a good picture of what actually happened here in this area of Nomzamo.
If I may interject there, MEC, apparently residents are concerned about gangs of Soweto nationals that are terrorizing the community. What is your reaction to that assertion by the community members?
Well, indeed, it's not only here. It's now a problem throughout Gauteng, especially in the areas that have got minings. Amazamazama, majority of them. But we've checked around here. There's no open holes of where Zamazamas are actually plying their trade. Because in many of these instances, it's these Basutus that actually come and harass communities, all because of at night they come out of their hole. During the day, we may not see them. Even when police try and arrest them, you'll never find them. So we've checked around here through crime intelligence. We're not picking up anything that may warrant. These people, they came in a kumbi. So these kumbis are starting to be a problem. Everywhere in various communities, you will hear quantum. It's quantum. We now want to work closely with the taxi association to say they must have a database of who are all these quantum owners here in Gauteng, and why are these quantums all of a sudden being used to actually commit crime here in Gauteng? Because these men don't travel one man, they come in a kumbi, go into a place, terrorize. In Katlehong is the very same situation. They went into a tavern, shot at people, 4 people have actually been shot. In Guamatole, same process, but these ones were just sitting in their own yard around the fire when they walked in and actually shot at them. So it is now a very serious problem. That is why we say communities, they must also be vigilant. You see a suspicious looking quantum, don't just keep quiet. Shaimpempe, call your CPF, call your police, or call your sector forum people, so that then we zoom in and really get to the bottom of exactly why there is lots and lots of these things. Recently we saw, I'm sure most of you do watch these social media things, it's as if it's a bag of amaponchisi ombila, and this person opens, and out inside of that bag guns are coming out. So meaning there's too much smuggling of guns into our problems, into our province. So police, they must continuously do stop and searches. You carry anything, they must dig deep and check what it is that is in your bags.
MEC, so you're confirming that it's 15 people that have been killed thus far?
2 have just died in hospital. 13 died here in Nomzamo, so 2 have just died in hospital. They were very critical, so we still have 2 that are still critical in hospital. Others are stable and they are being taken care of.
Thank you very much. Well, as you heard, that's Community Safety MEC Faith Mazibuko confirming that about 15 people have now passed on following the shooting at this particular informal settlement. Thank you so much for your time. I'm joined now by Kiabetswe Malebo, who's going to elaborate on the challenge the community face on the ground, which is crime. Thank you so much, Kiabetswe. Can you just elaborate on the picture, the scenario that's unfolding, which you say is an old thing that's been happening here in this area?
The unfortunate situation is that within our communities we have we are gang infested. We are in terms of the community, right? Our communities are faced with criminalities each and every day. This is not the first case. It's just that it's unfortunate that this one made the news. But to tell you the honest truth, this has been an ongoing case for a very long time. There's always been shootouts, Nomzamo, and we've just gathered intel that this is a possible tribalism. We've got, the community was shot with a high caliber rifle. And I did mention it before to the MEC. I did mention it before to Pegitele when Khomotso Diale passed away. Khomotso Diale, the community of Pimville, was shot with a high caliber rifle. And now the caliber rifle right now is out at large. Now there's a random shooting in your community. This is a norm to the community. We are getting shot at not by small guns, by big guns. We did highlight to the police minister that there are rifles within our communities everywhere. So now you can see that if the last time the community was shot and we survived, now there's about 15 people that just confirmed that they've passed away. So to tell you the honest truth, my brother, our security clusters are overwhelmed by the situation because on the daily, our security clusters are fighting Dintoteso. They are fighting crimes. But now, when our security clusters also are being shot at Gadi high caliber rifles, the community is being shot at Gadi high caliber rifles. Why is the police not acting? Kayona situation in Twino. Maseru is not so far away from here. Maseru is an informal settlement whereby our community is kidnapped and thrown inside there and raped, and the police can't go inside there. So understand that we are surrounded by informal settlements whereby our police securities can't even come in, but investigate or crime.
Okay, so they are failing in their duties to protect and serve the community of this area.
They failed a long time ago. They failed a long time ago, and the unfortunate situation is that you are finding out about it now. We are on the ground on the daily. We know about the killings. These bodies here, Nomzamo, this is not the first incident. There's been incident. The community has been crying kadi random shootings. They've been crying katabare batu babulawa momo Nomzamo. This is not a case yahonache. It's been months and months, even years in Yetsala. So we need to find a solution of how our police clusters are going to make sure that they are able to curb crime within our communities.
Thank you very much. Well, that's Kiabetswe, one of the local community leaders here, actually saying that this is not an isolated event, which actually happens quite frequently. I am joined now by Mdlalose Operation Dudula. Mdlalose.
Soweto Parliament.
Oh, Soweto Parliament. There seems to be an issue of foreign nationals terrorizing the community in this area, and you guys have been in this fight. You also mentioned that you were patrolling the area yesterday. What is your reaction to what transpired?
Look, it's disgusting. It's disgusting simply because we are not honest. We are not honest with South Africans. Now is the time. There's no other better time. We've got 15 South Africans, 15 South Africans now. There's another one confirmed dead that we need to bury now at the hands of possible warfare against that involves foreign nationals and so forth. It's something that is just not acceptable. But you know what's going to happen? We're going to talk about it, and it's going to be normalized. Next week, it's another group that's dying. 2 weeks ago, there was another group. 3 weeks ago, I can go back as far as Homoso Diale when he was shot again at another informal settlement here in Soweto. And you've got your politicians with warm breakfast, never ever experiencing load shedding, and when they do, they've got generators, high walls, electric fences, changing in their warm couches, changing news channels to see what's going on in those townships. They're never here. Where are they now? But let's at the stadium and say there's rallies and then speak to people about nonsense, and then the same poor people go back to empty fridges. They go back to drug-infested communities. They go back to communities that have illegal foreigners that are unaccounted for, that are killing our people here. But they say no, our people, our Africans must just come in and wherever you find land, you must just build squatter camps. We live with the consequences of those squatter camps. Your politicians are happy there, wherever they live. They are disgusting. Politicians are the biggest sellouts of this country. Someone must tell them. Maybe you guys as media are even shy to tell them. The politicians are the biggest sellouts of this country. The ordinary people have been forgotten in this country. Let's go back to this particular situation. A guy came, high caliber rifle, AK-47, similar style to how they shot us, chicken farm, and Diale died. Shot and killed 15 people, 24 people were shot, some are in hospital. Every 2 minutes we're getting a call, another one is dead, another one is dead. Let's look at that. If the police were here during the time of the shooting, there's nothing that the police can do about it. Because the enemy, the criminal, is more resourced, is more armed than the ordinary police. So that already tells you that we are suffering defeat from criminals. If you go to our neighboring countries, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, Botswana, their police don't even carry half the guns that our police have. Their presence is enough for authority and bring sense and bring order and control to any situation. But our police, with the training and the hoo-ha that they always present, they are getting terrorized and getting slapped around by both South Africans and foreigners.
So how can we fix this situation on the ground? As you rightfully mentioned, that the police are under-resourced and somehow they can't face some of these guys with their high-caliber rifles.
Look, the situation is only solved by honesty. If we can all come together and say that, listen, we are being defeated at the hands of crime. What do we do together? Stop thinking that you're steering, you can do these things alone. You can't. The community has more intelligence than the police do. Whatever information that the police have at the end of the day that lands up, whether they call them informants or whoever, it's coming from the communities. We need to close the gap between the police, the law enforcement in our communities, between government and our communities. Then we will see real results happening. Because right now we're all operating in silos, and that's what's defeating this country.
Thank you very much. Well, as you heard, that's one of the members of Soweto Parliament actually saying that the biggest sellout in the country are the politicians. As you know, they have under-resourced the police who are supposed to keep or serve and protect communities. But unfortunately, they are failing. As you know, sometimes they would respond slowly. The community on the ground also reported that, police hardly actually come to check if there is any incident happening in this particular area. They are normally reactive to the crime that's happening, but in terms of crime prevention, they are saying it's very, very thin on the ground, and they are appealing to the authorities to say that more should be done to resource the police and to ensure that they tackle issues like illegal taverns, which the MEC was saying it's one of the places where violent crime actually happens after arguments that have started at the tavern. And they are saying that there should be more deployment of police at those particular areas. Criselda?
Ofentse, absolutely devastated. Thank you very much for the work that you're doing out there in Soweto with the MEC Faith Mazibuko, indicating that another person has now died, bringing that death toll to 15, and there are other people that still remain in hospital at this particular time. So thank you very much indeed. We'll certainly try to get an update from you a bit later on, but of course that developing story, absolute devastation, 15 people now dead as a result of that shooting that took place there in Soweto.